talk about the the assembling your market text for MarTech stack for the success. So what happens is in many organizations when it comes to integrating any MarTech platform, the first thing they all think that it's a huge thing and it's going to take a lot of effort. First thing obviously comes, even though I'm from tech, but tech will say that no, because that's the place where they feel they have to put in more efforts. But if you really look into it, the recipe of this is not something which is very tricky. It's just divided into three parts. First is like data collection. The second is choosing the right platform. That's obviously the most critical part. And third one is the data storage. So I'll dive into all three stages of this whole integration, so that you guys can understand how to do this successfully. So first is the data collection. So now many times this is common across even MarTech, even for analytics platform and everything. So many times when we integrate these kind of platforms, either what we do is we just on the website we just add their code on the website, either we forget on the app. So what we see is the basic data collection which the tool provides. So for example, let's say you have Google Analytics as a basic analytical tool. So we never pass the unique identifiers, we never pass the important event data. So in this, what happens is when the data is added to the platform, all you track there is the visits, page views, and the basic conversion goals. So the same rule applies when we integrate any marketing tech platform, where if we don't pass this data correctly, then it's going to get messed up. So I'll give you an example. Let's say if you are an e-commerce company, and just imagine as an identifier, you don't even pass the user ID for every event. So if something like this happens, when the data goes to your platform, you won't be able to figure out what that user's journey on your platform is, and then you won't be able to track anything at all. So first thing, you have to ensure that the data you are collecting and pushing it to the any MarTech platform, it has to be correct. It has to have a proper data, starting with any unique identifier that you feel is right for your platform. And apart from that, you have to ensure that the same identifier used across uh, all your apps. So for example, you have a web app, you have a mobile SDK, you have something else. So you have to ensure it's same, because sometimes I've seen where on the website you have a user ID passed, on the app you pass the email address, and then when you are looking at the MarTech platform, you feel that there are two different users. You won't even be able to track what that user did on the website and what the user did on the app. So it's extremely important to track that, put properly. Apart from that, there are many basic things that we miss. For example, let's say you're running an e-commerce website and you are not even passing the product details or the order details properly. So in this, what happens is, let's say someone visits your product description page and you don't even know what product it is. And when the person puts that product in the cart, you don't know which product the cart has it. All these things happens because you don't even pass the data. So it's extremely important for us to collect the data and pass the data and ensure the same data is passed to the tools that you are using, be it analytical tool or you use any marketing automation tool. So that is the most important part. Apart, the second one is also extremely important where it comes to the platform. So I've seen many organizations when it's about selecting the platform, they always pick multiple platforms. I've seen large organizations with one platform handling the push notification, another handling the email deliveries, and the third platform handling the web personalization. And the funny part in this is, in all these platforms, they send different data. So eventually, when you want to have a single view of the user, you can't, because you are just passing different data to different platforms. You are not even collecting that. So my personal recommendation is always look for a single platform which can do most of your things. And let's be very, very real, none of the single platforms will be able to do 100% of your wish list, but at least you will reach 90%. So let's keep our expectations very, very real, what we want to do, where we want to do. And also, when you're picking a single platform, when you're trying to compare with other multiple platforms, you are going to find something that which is available in platform A is not available in platform B, or something else is available in platform C. And this is endless. This is obviously always going to happen. You have to make up your mind, decide what is the priority for you. Do not look for the features which are not even necessary for you. It may be there. For example, you may find some platform having recommendation engine inbuilt, someone will have analytical engine inbuilt, someone will have something else, but do you even need those? You figure out your priorities, what you need, why you need it, and only then only you pick the platform. Do not just chase something where it's not even necessary. So that's extremely important. The third most point, I personally feel, is the data storage. So now what happens is we start collecting the data from websites, from server side events and everywhere. Then we push into any marketing automation tools, right? But now what happens to that data? In the end, you will reach a stage where you are quite happy with whatever data that you have on these particular platforms, but then you need to do more to it. You may want to collate all the data, you need to run machine learning algorithms, you may want to even create micro segments and even pass it to these platforms. So what do you do for that? So for that, you have to ensure from the start that you have either data warehouse or data lake setup, where the places where the data is sent, you take it back, collect it so that it's with you, and then you can keep running algorithms. So this again comes back to the platform you pick, because if that platform does not is not agile enough, it does not have the capability to send the data back to you, or even it does not have the capability that it takes the data from you via API, then you won't be able to achieve all these things, right? So you have to ensure that the platform is right, and it allows you to collect the data the way you want, and it allows you to throw the data back to you. So these are the things I personally feel these are extremely important. uh, I'm not going to spend more time on the presentation, sorry to disappoint, but I would really love to answer the questions that you have, because I feel this can become more like an interactive session where I answer the question if you guys have. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Deep. I think these are a very important point that you touched upon. But the recipe you defined, right, in an org, whether it is small startup to a growing startup like you in the growth phase, who are the real cooks who work on this recipe? From the org structure perspective, is which function takes care of responsibility of understanding what the data could be? So data identification, who decides what is the right data identifier? Is it the email ID? Is it the phone number? Do I have my own personal identifier? In your case, how is the team structure who takes these
Yeah, so
decisions?
for us, that's a great question. So for us, we always kept that identification part with the technology and the product team, because we felt that if we are the source of the data, where the data is flowing from the technology platforms, it's better we define it from the start, right? Because once you identify the single identifier, then rest of the things is just a meta information, right? So that is extremely critical for us. When we started, it started with only tech team defining it, then the product team got into it, but we were very clear from the start what is the unique identifier for us. In our case, it was phone number, and it still remains the same, right? And some people may have multiple things, so they can just use user ID for that matter, but we have to ensure that user ID remains same across the platform, because I've seen use cases where Someone has user id with hash on web platform, someone will have user id with digits on a different platform. Just because the login mechanism is different on both, they create different identifiers. So whatever it is, it has to be single, and I personally strongly believe that it has to be with the technology. Yeah. Yeah, please.
Just a follow-up, not to Deep, but for everyone around here, how many of you in your own businesses have problem related to data identifier itself? The one example that Deep mentioned, that these guys use phone number as the main identifier for an end user, but there are different flows wherein it becomes difficult and IDs will have hashes and all of that. The CRM, marketing automation.
So just okay. How many of you are actually happy with the quality of data in the retention stack? Okay, only a few hands. Those who are not happy? Anybody wants to take a dig at this? Why you think you are not happy? What is the challenge? Anybody wants to take a dig at that? You want to? Okay.
Yeah, hi. So mainly we come from a food and beverages industries, and the major footfall comes either from the dine-in or from the online business. And where the online visibility is there, the entire the crux of these days, the marketing basically as a unique identifier, phone number, email, these could be the one of the things. But when you come from the online platform, the numbers converted into a virtual numbers, and we cannot able to engage the right customer, or we just get to know, okay, what is the new customers, what is the repeated customers, and if these are the repeated customers, how you reach them directly.
Sir, you mentioned data collection platform and data storage. In data collection, there is a lot of unstructured and structured data, then redundant data, then good data may be there. How do you weed out all these to get relevant data for your application?
Yeah. So now in the data collection, there are multiple ways. One is the data which is being collected is on your platforms. So for example, someone is visiting on your website, someone is visiting your apps. That's the data is completely structured because that's what you have completely control over. Now, unstructured data may come from the data where people visit your visit the platform which are not under your controls, right? So those data, you'll have to have a data transformation layer. You'll have to write scripts in between to figure out of this unstructured data what data actually matters to you. So their transformation layer needs to be involved 100% for sure. But most of the data, when you're running this platform on martech and martech platform, it is generally from your own properties where you have complete control over it.
I'll
Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll answer the question.
Yeah, I think someone has that. Yeah.
From here. So from here, on your left.
Oh, so
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah,
no
this.
problem.
Please.
So I'll answer your question. I come from a wealth management space. The biggest problem I have faced in CRMs and MarTech platform is that most of them are built for fast-moving products. So the structure of the CRM is such that the sales cycle is pretty shorter, and most of them are in the similar structure. With the wealth management, the sales cycle goes to about 20, 30, 35 days sometimes. That's the long cycle that we have. The products are very different. It's a service-oriented business. It's very difficult to plug this into the CRM. So we have our own hacks. The CRM that we use, we have hacked it to structure it in a way that even though we are able to do the CRM part, but then those reports become very redundant to us. We still have to use our own tech, take out the dump from CRM and do our own reporting. We've tried multiple CRMs platforms, and that has been the constant challenge with the long sales cycle business.
Yeah, I think that's where this whole marketing automation platform being agile comes in place, right? Because we had faced a similar issue with multiple platforms earlier when you have a lot of data which is non-standard. It's difficult to pass it to that platform, and even if you manage to pass it, they won't understand how to process it. So that's where this agile thing comes in platform. So what we use right now, we pass everything in Meta, and then we run a lot of reports based on the data which we pass in the Meta, and that works very well. So you may want to explore that path. If you need more details, I'll be happy to help you out. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, hi Deep. My name is Naval. Can you give some examples of some of the tech stacks and platforms which have worked for the Good Glamm? And also a related thing like what is the core strength which actually helped you acquire those many customers and help you become a unicorn?
Yeah, sure. So, the tech stack, what we talk about for the marketing automation, we had tried multiple products in the past, and we zeroed down to Web Engage. We have been using it past, what, 6, 7 odd years. So that's where the data comes in for data collection. We pass everything via GTM. We don't use segment or anything because we reach the scale where segment is becoming quite unaffordable for us. So we do our own processing. We have data being passed to the Web Engage via server-side events a lot. So we have a pipeline in between. From there, the data flows. Doesn't matter whether it's browser, whether it's server. Everything goes to different platforms. So we not only pass it to Web Engage, we use Adobe Analytics as an analytics platform as well for some of the sites. The content sites are on GA still, so that data goes to GA as well. So we have a decision making in between where the data should flow. So, and once the data is pushed to Web Engage or Adobe Analytics or various other tools, then we have a data warehouse which is connected to these tools. So we use right now Google's BigQuery. So that's our primary data warehouse. And from there, the processing of the data, where a lot of machine learning algorithms run, they take the data, they process it, and we pass it back to Web Engage for micro segmentation purpose. We pass some of the data to Facebook for creating lookalikes also for remarketing purpose. The same is being passed to Google as well. So this is broadly, this is what we generally do. Yeah. Do we have time? I don't know.
Data is the central piece of all this puzzle, and I think, which I like Deep sort of throw more color at this. But what generally, in my own experience, what I've seen, guys, is tools aside, it doesn't matter, which tool you end up choosing. But I think the bigger problem that I've seen teams face with, most of the times, retention is largely a marketing team problem. It's thrown into the kitty of a marketing team. Sometimes in companies, we come across as product teams owning that part of the puzzle. The key to setting up any sort of retention stack, marketing stack, is first solve the data layer. Is to solve for data model. None of these marketing tools are verticalized solutions, right? So I heard wealth management, somebody said food, Deep runs a cosmetics company, which is like a D2C brand. And I can go on and on with different flavors, right? Each of these data sets are very complicated and different from each other. Marketing tools, they don't solve for it. It's very complex to solve for it. Marketing tools have given you, or analytics tools for that matter, we've all given you a simplified and oversimplified version of what we call as user data and actions data, user attributes and event attributes. Everything in this world that you can think of has to boil down to that for you to be able to act on that data. This layer, unfortunately, is the largest and the biggest reason why most marketing automation deployment fails, because most teams, they are not able to adapt their business understanding of the data to this very horizontal, no semantics data structure. It does not have any structure whatsoever. It says key and value, whatever in key, whatever in value, and then you end up with whatever over a period of time, if you don't know how to use it. I think solving for that whatever, even before you go to this depth, is where the challenges really are. And that is where my question to Deep is, Deep, does this resonate? what I was trying to say, right, in terms of the data model, we offer a horizontal data model, right? Not a verticalized e-com D2C data model.
Yeah.
Now, is there work that is done even before you sort of move one step further, saying, I want to deploy a new analytics tool, I want to deploy a new marketing tech tool? Somebody has to work on this side of modeling. What does it mean for me, right? What are these things that I want to capture in this marketing CRM? And then the how-tos follow. But who are these teams? Who are these people who do this job that sets you up for success?
Yeah, I think, our job more or less ends when the technology team uh, integrates everything and data is working very, very smoothly, right? But the real job of this whole thing starts with the marketing and the growth teams, where they have to ensure that the data which is available to them via the tools, they utilize it properly. Just imagine you have huge set of data, you can create number of segments out of it, but then you just don't know how to use it, right? That's where the DIY platforms, where it's extremely easy to use, because I've seen many of the agencies, many of the companies, they rely on someone not from their company to run the campaigns. So if they do, I mean, which I'm personally, the consultants are going to hate me, but I personally feel that it's your business, you should understand it. I do get it, sometimes you don't have enough time to it, you need helping hands for it, but get your hands dirty, understand how it works, because if you don't even know the features of the platform, you won't even know different ways to take juice out of it, right? Like, for example, recently, some time back, we discovered a feature in WebEngage where you could actually figure out what is that user's particular time where the mail or the SMS or the WhatsApp opens, right? The notification is sent around the same time, be it push notification. Just imagine if we did not know this, we were just sending everyone notification randomly, thinking that अरे शाम को 7 बजे हमें conversion अच्छा मिलता है, let's just shoot everyone email at 7 o'clock, right? But what if it's personalized to everyone? So these are some of the things that you must know as a marketeer, that there are available. Take juice out of these platforms. You are anyway paying truckload of money, so take juice out of it. Yeah.
Don't look at us when you say truckloads of money. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Deep.
WebEngage. Retention simplified.